Okay, so it's time to segment an orange and a grapefruit. Brett and I, we segment quite a lot of oranges and grapefruits. Perfect for that beautiful salad if you want it to look restaurant quality, or if you just want to not eat the white pith, which a lot of people don't really like.
It's very bitter.
Then it is bitter.
Yeah.
I don't mind the bitterness.
It's bitter and tough.
Yes. So what we're going to do is show you the easiest way to segment. Again, just like everything else, you take the top and tail, you take them off, and again the knife's all the way down, the point's all the way down to the bottom, and we have both the ends off. Now what I like to do, I choose a side that I can work with that most suits me. This is really busy, everything's going on here, so you can get a little bit confused. So what I do is I turn it over, or a really nice circular pattern there, it's even, and then I can actually follow that. And what I mean is we don't want to have any pith, any white on our orange. And so you start with the blade, I always start with the middle of my knife, just above the white pith, and we're going to follow that all the way down. So you're going to hold the back of the knife steady with 3 fingers and the thumb at the back, and then we're going to slowly just try and do it in one movement. Go all the way down. And so what that does is it then opens it up and we have the pith on both sides. So now what you do is you follow, that pith is going to be your guide, and you now slowly follow that pith around, and so you just take off the pith with as little flesh as possible. And so now you can start seeing the white lines of the segments, and that's exactly what you want. And Brett, it's exactly the same with the grapefruit, isn't it?
It is.
It's just a little bit bigger. And sometimes, you know, the pith will just be a bit thicker in areas, so then you just take the knife over a little bit more and we just take that off. There's nothing worse when you actually segment an orange and you've got the white pith on it still. All right, so we're just about done. I've just followed that pith all the way down, and then we have a really nice segmented orange. So now what I do, and that base really is quite nasty and messy in there, and it's probably going to be a little bit tart as well. So what I do is the colour changes as well. You can see it's really light and then it goes quite deep. So I go to the tip of that colour and I just cut that base off, and so then I have a much nicer looking base.
I'm going to do the same thing because there's 2 ways of segmenting, and we want to show, we're each going to do a different way for you. Now you can see with mine, it's a lot thicker. So the pith is very, very thick. So again, same as Camilla, I'm following that line all the way around. And you can see how much wastage there is on my giant pink grapefruit. And it goes down to about the size of your orange. And again, just going to cut that little bit off so we've got the same.
Beautiful. So I'm going to start with the basic method of segmenting. This is the segment that you'd do if you really had no idea what you're doing. And what you want to do is follow, again, the white lines, and by putting your blade right next to, and you want to go close to it as possible, right next to the pith line, and you're just slowly going to cut all the way in until you get to the middle of the knife. Now I can see that it's hitting the middle because it's where the pith lines actually join in the centre, okay? So I've gone all the way down, as close as I can to the pith. I take my knife out and I go to the other side and I do exactly the same motion, just a very fine cut. And then I have a perfect segment. Now as you can see, there's a tiny little bit of flesh on the sides. It doesn't really matter at this point. So again, you just keep on continuing around the orange and you just give a little bit of a wiggle. And sometimes you go, you know what, I haven't quite cut down to the other side. Just go back over it again and give it a slice, and you just keep on going around the orange.
Beautiful. Okay.
Thanks.
My way is a little bit different. Okay, what we do with mine is exactly the same at the start. We go down until we hit the middle of, well, mine's the pink grapefruit, and with mine, we give it a little wiggle underneath and we lift it up. And you can see how it actually tears off. So we go down, rather than cutting the other side, it's a gentle lift and it tears it off. Now, this is a little bit more, slightly more advanced, but it gets a more consistent, you have less wastage. And that way you can actually see each one, just lift it up and it's tearing away, leaving your beautiful segments without any pith on. Once you get a little bit quicker, it's a lot easier to do. Now the good thing about this, it doesn't get rid of all the pips, but it does get rid of quite a few of them. Didn't want that one. Once you get to the end, pull the last one off, just get rid of that little pith, and there we've got beautiful segments done 2 different ways.